Good morning. This is Jim LaPointe with Colden Company, and today we're going to be talking about evaluating your data security risk. First of all, a little bit about Colden Company. We are an information technology services organization. We're computer guys, and we were founded in 2003. So we've been in business about 14 years now. This is January 2017. We have offices in upstate New York as well as Northeast Florida, but our customers operate all around the United States, 21 states currently, as well as Canada and Bermuda. We have many leading technical certifications. What's relevant to this presentation today is CompTIA's Security Plus certification, as well as the CBCP, which is a Certified Business Continuity Planner. It's a certification from the Disaster Recovery Institute. So what's our agenda today? We're going to be talking about the data security landscape. We're going to talk about the value of proactive assessments, and then we're going to talk about how we can help. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, there was an increase in ransomware of 433% in 2016 over 2015. quite a rise. Ransomware has now become a billion-dollar business. For those of you that are unfamiliar with ransomware, it's a virus or malware that restricts access to your data, typically through encryption, and does not allow you to access your data until you pay the hacker some amount of money. That's where the ransom part of ransomware comes in. We do a whole presentation just on ransomware, so I won't get into too much detail there, but it's really an evolution of malware and viruses where hackers have directly monetized their hacks. But beyond ransomware, there are other threat vectors that are out there as well. We're seeing quite an increase in social engineering threats, particularly to the small and mid-sized business that we typically had only seen at large businesses in the past. And just overall, there's an increase in malware. From year to year, it seems like the amount of malware continues to rise year to year. So an important point for businesses to know is that the FTC is starting to fine companies with lax cybersecurity. You may have read on the news about AT&T getting fined $25 million or Merrill Lynch getting fined $1 million for breaches that occurred. What doesn't make the news as all the small businesses that are getting fined as well, but that is happening. So who is at risk? Well, the small business is really at risk. 1 in 5 businesses will be exposed to a data breach, and this is according to a Visa study. And 85% of those breaches occur at small businesses. And there's a very simple reason for that. Small businesses are easier targets. They don't have the resources and the money to put into cybersecurity defense like the AT&Ts and the Merrill Lynches, if we talk about those companies we mentioned previously. Just like the thief in New York City, the car thief, walking down the street, he's going to bypass the car with the club in it and find an easier target, right? They're going after volume and the easy targets, which are the small businesses. So the average cost to a business per record for a breach is about $194 according to Visa. SolarWinds puts that number at about $210, so they're both within the ballpark here. So as a business, you do have a legal responsibility to report compromised private information. So what do we mean by private information? We're talking about social security numbers, credit cards, banking information, health information. That's information that is protected. Each state has their own set of rules, but each state does have some type of rule. And what I've got on the screen here, I copied the text from the Florida statute here. Each covered entity, governmental entity, or third-party agent shall take reasonable measures, emphasis added by myself, to protect and secure data in electronic form containing personal information. So the question becomes, well, what is reasonable? Now keep in mind, it's very easy for your state's attorney general to say, you got hacked, therefore whatever measures you had in place were not reasonable enough. That's tough to defend that. So what can you do? Well, there are some standards out there. And what I've got listed here, if you're going to take credit cards as an example, there is PCI, payment card industry, DSS requirements. These are requirements, data security standards. I'm not going to go into all 12 of these, but these are a bare minimum of things that you need to be doing if you're going to accept credit cards, essentially. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're processing them internally. You could be processing them from an external website or something like that. You still need to do these things because chances are people are sending you credit card information for payment through email, through fax, whatever. So you need to have these things in place. But today we're going to focus on number 11, regularly test security systems and processes. Now, just for the record, there's also an organization called the SANS Institute. They're a very well-respected security nonprofit. They have a list of 20 controls to have in place. Their number 4, continuous vulnerability assessment and remediation, goes along the same lines here. So that's what we're going to be focusing on here. So how we can help here at Colden Company, we can prevent hacks by doing regular vulnerability scans. So we are essentially looking at your internet connection from the outside and seeing what potential holes are there and checking that regularly and reporting on that regularly. That's a scan from the outside. We also do what we call a risk intelligence scan, which is done from the inside. And what that will do is look for the type of protected information that you are legally bound to protect and look for that. And I'll give you an example here. We had a customer recently. I asked them, do you store any type of credit card information, serial social security numbers, anything like that? No, we don't. So I asked them, do you mind if I run a scan? They gave me approval. Just ran it on their HR person's computer. That's it. And came back with a bunch of credit cards numbers that were stored on her machine in clear text. So a lot of businesses may not even know that they have this kind of information that they need to protect. So what I'm going to do here is break for a minute from the PowerPoint and look at the security assessment here. So this is the vulnerability scan that we do. Essentially, we're looking at the different externally facing IP addresses. It's going to give you a breakdown of what kind of threats you have. Here is just a pie chart. It gets into detail of what those actually are. And if we go all the way to the bottom, let me just make this faster here. It's going to actually get into detail about, for this example, the TCP timestamp vulnerability. On the internal scan, you can see we've uncovered 2 MasterCards and 4 Visa numbers on this machine. Again, I'm going to skip over a lot of this, but just get down to the bottom here. And this will actually show me exactly what file and where it is that had that credit card information. You can see here we've X'd it out for the purposes of this report, but it was in clear text on the computer itself. So those are a couple of scans that you can run internally and should run on your systems. Okay, so in summary, if you're running your business the same way you were 3 or 4 years ago, you're not staying the same, you're falling behind. That's a saying that we like to use here at Colden Company. We use it a lot to talk about keeping up with technology, but it's also very pertinent with security. The threats that are out there in today's world are much more severe than they were 3 or 4 years ago. So your security practices need to be staying up with that as well. If you'd like to hear more or see how we can help your business, please feel free to contact us, 888-600-4560. We also have our email address. You can see us on Facebook or Twitter as well. And again, my name is Jim LaPointe with Colden Company, and we thank you very much for joining us today.